Hi, friends. My name is Reverend Bethany Benz Whittington. I am an ordained PCUSA pastor not far from you. I live in Maryville, Tennessee, which is right outside of Knoxville. I'm also the owner of Sacred Calls, which is a Christian education ministry based exclusively online. So, in conversation with your pastor, Jill, I will be joining you for the next 7 weeks to do some theologizing of current events. For example, this afternoon, there was supposed to be a hearing of the January 6th committee. And that's a pretty big current event. And if you would like to talk about it from a theological perspective, this could potentially be the place to do that. Now, I say potentially because I actually do have options for you. We can do this one of two ways, and you get to decide. The first option is essentially dealer's choice. I scan the news, choose one thing to discuss from the week. The second option is your choice with a little less event specificity. You create for me a list of topics that I will cover and you discuss. For example, cancel culture, elections, authoritarianism. Not to worry though, in my planning and in your discussion, specific events will inevitably come up. So, those are your options. Each week, I will provide you with a video where I'll talk about the thing, why it's significant, what scriptures come to mind, what ideas, and do some wondering about where we see God. Then you will use the handout that I will send you. It's mostly going to be discussion questions, and you will use that as a discussion guide. Your task for the rest of the time that you're together tonight is to choose between options 1 and 2. If you go with the second option, I also need you to make me a list tonight of the general topics that you would like to cover. Give those to Jill, she'll send them to me, and we will be on our way. So I am so excited to get started with you. I think this is going to be super fun. It's going to be really interesting, and I hope that it is fruitful for you. So in that vein, I thought I'd offer a bit of a teaser to make sure that you're intrigued and will come back next week. I mentioned earlier that there was supposed to be a hearing of the January 6th committee, and between the time that I recorded this and the time that I went to edit, they had canceled the hearing. So I'm re-recording with a few minor tweaks, and that is how current we are able to be in this format. So I hope that it works for you. So this week, the Select Committee to investigate the Capitol riot on January 6th was supposed to hold its next hearing. We've had the great privilege of being able to watch several of their hearings, and each time I do, I remember sitting in my den, pregnant and with a 19-month-old, watching and wondering how I could raise babies in a place like this. It's still a question that I have. We locked the house up tight that night, took up our yard signs, even considered having our toddler sleep in our bed with us because it just didn't feel like anywhere was safe. I also remember my group text with my clergy girlfriends and all of us just kind of watching and being dumbfounded. And every hearing, every investigation, every breaking news story since then has left me momentarily speechless. And isn't that wonderful? That we still have the capacity to be caught off guard by even the most horrible things in this world. Now, I am a big fan of the prophets, Amos especially, but the others are good too. Each has their own sticky bits, the stuff that sticks in your head and your heart and just won't let go. The one that comes to mind as I'm thinking about the horrors of this world is Isaiah 43:19. Look, I'm doing a new thing. Now it sprouts up. Don't you recognize it? I'm making a way in the desert and paths in the wilderness. It's dangerous to look around and say, this is fine, God's going to fix it, and we'll definitely recognize when they do. And yet, as Christians, we are people of hope, and so we do often do that. However, if we listen to the words of the prophet Isaiah, it seems that we actually don't recognize when God is doing a new thing because God says, "Don't you see it?" We have to be really discerning about what is just plain bad and what has the potential for goodness beyond its present badness, with God's help, of course. Now, I wouldn't look at the Capitol riot and imagine any potential for good, but sometimes God surprises us, yes, because God says, "See, I am about to do a new thing. Don't you see it?" Well, no, God, I don't. All I see right now is a seemingly endless string of investigations and sensational news stories and court dates and the absolute dregs of civilized society. I'm hoping to see this new thing, and I'm hoping to see God at work, and I'm hoping against hope that as I raise babies in this place that feels on the verge of death, that resurrection is only just a few days away. Again, just a teaser. As we do more of this work together, we will go further in depth into our Reformed theology, into the scriptures, into what God is saying to us. And I hope that by the end, we will be able to say even just a little bit, "Yes, God, I see you doing a new thing." So, friends, come back week after week as we discern the will and the word of God together. Peace.